What if the college football playoff didn't stop at 12 teams? Let's say in our own imaginary world, the college football playoff expanded. But controversy didn't just disappear, it just moved further down into the rankings. So today, we're going to be doing something really simple. Let's build a 16-team college football playoff, using the teams that are already in, plus the 4 teams that I believe deserve a shot if the field were expanded. No rewriting the season, no hypothetical rankings, just real teams, real resumes, and real matchups. Let's build a bracket. I know it's been a really long time since I've made a video, but I'm going to try to do this more regularly. I know I say that every single time, but I'm being serious this time, for real. Without further ado, let's get into it, and welcome back to House of Stats. I first want to talk about the current field, the 12 teams that are currently in the college football playoff. Starting off with Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas Tech that make up the top 4, and then Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Alabama, Miami, Tulane, and James Madison. This group represents the committee's balance between power conferences, resume strengths, and at least one group of 5 team. In this case, we have 2 because Duke beat Virginia in the ACC championship, and let's be real, Duke sucked. Overall, this is a super solid field. But once you expand beyond the 12, the conversation changes from who's elite to who deserves a chance. Because right now, outside of Tulane and James Madison, all of these teams can beat each other on a good day. I want to start off by talking about Notre Dame. Notre Dame's resume is always controversial, but year after year, they sit right on the verge of the playoffs. This past year, they made the mistake of scheduling their 2 hardest games of the season in September. They first played Miami in Hard Rock, a tough matchup as it is. Add in the fact that Notre Dame had a brand new starting quarterback, along with a huge chip on their shoulder coming off a national championship game appearance, and it was the perfect recipe for a disaster. Not only did they lose to Miami, but the next week they lost to Texas A&M at home, which didn't look like a bad loss at first with A&M being 3rd in the country and undefeated midway through the season, but as A&M got exposed, it made Notre Dame look worse and worse. Their best win on the season has been USC, who earlier lost to a Michigan team, and if not that, then Pitt or maybe even Arkansas. Their national brand definitely plays a huge part in their assessment, but a schedule that doesn't really include difficulties gives us a small sample size to assess talent. Are they a title favorite? Probably not. Are they the most deserving team to be in? Also probably not. But in a 16-team playoff, leaving Notre Dame out becomes harder to justify than letting them in and prove it on the field. The fact that they have a Heisman candidate, as well as a defense with several NFL caliber players, allows them to keep up with the best of the best. Next up, we have BYU. BYU is definitely the hardest team to justify being in the college football playoff. They have been blown out by Texas Tech not once, but twice. Both times where their super high-powered offense failed to score over 7 points, which is a huge red flag in itself. They have great wins over a 15th ranked Utah and 17th ranked Arizona, and I just want to preface, great wins for the Big 12. It's hard to judge how good they actually are because of that very favorable Big 12 schedule. But off of what we have seen, an 11-2 team with only 1 loss to basically 1 team, and multiple ranked wins, they're in for me. They don't have the star power of some SEC teams, but in an expanded playoff, BYU is exactly the type of team that earns a spot instead of begging for some. Notre Dame. They are a great dark horse team, and on a good day, they can keep up with anyone. Third, we've got Texas. Yes, they have 3 losses, and yes, they're inconsistent. But Texas also has one of the most talented rosters in the country and a strength of schedule that actually matters. Their first loss was Week 1 away at Ohio State, a game that was decided by just 1 score against the reigning champions in their home stadium. Their second loss was their worst of the season by far, against an unranked Florida. I will concede that playing in the swamp is an incredibly hard thing to do, and the Gators nearly beat Georgia and held their own against Ole Miss. But it's still a bad loss, and their final loss in the year was against Georgia, in Athens. As someone that went to this game, Texas really struggled on all facets. It looked like it was pretty close in the first half, but everything unraveled after this. They also have great wins over Vandy and Texas A&M. With the 7th hardest schedule in the country and a roster loaded with talent, I believe that Texas 100% deserves a spot in the playoffs. Anyone that thinks otherwise really needs to reevaluate their outlook on college football. The team has gotten better every single week, and after losing multiple NFL caliber pieces on offense like Isaiah Bond, Matthew Golden, and Quinn Ewers, the team was surely going to struggle. Sarkisian and Arch will be criticized, but when things are clicking, Texas is dangerous. They have one of the top defenses in the country, and if the offense plays like it has the past few weeks, they can keep up with anyone. In a 16-team playoff, talent plus resume should matter more than brand fatigue, and Texas checks both boxes. Finally, we've got Vanderbilt. This is the pick that gets the most amount of people mad. But if you're going to expand the playoff, you have to reward the overachievers, not just the blue bloods that perform based off their reputation. Vanderbilt played competitive football all season long. They didn't pad wins, and their losses were super close. They didn't hide from anything. They're not a favorite, but neither are 16 seeds in any sport. Just look at basketball. The 16 seed is never expected to win. It's all about the story, and that's the point. Vandy's best win comes against Tennessee, and I understand that they lost to Texas and Alabama, but they have the 25th hardest schedule in the country. That doesn't sound good, but it's SEC football. And I can't justify putting a single team below them in the playoffs. Utah, USC, Arizona, and Michigan, all of whom have beat absolutely no one above them. In fact, the best team below Vandy might actually be a 22nd ranked Georgia Tech, who barely lost to Georgia. The logic is simple. Vandy would get an at-large bid for this last spot, and there shouldn't be questions asked, simply because no one below them is better, and a Heisman-caliber quarterback and a homegrown coach gives them a great story. Now I want to talk about the bracket itself. This is a straight 1 through 16 format, no buys, no conference protection, and no brand shielding. Indiana vs. Vanderbilt is the first game, as they're the 1 seed and the 16 seed. On paper, it looks like a mismatch, but Vanderbilt's physical style forces Indiana to actually play through all 4 quarters. Not to mention, it's Indiana's first taste of SEC ball, so we'll see how they play against real competition. It's a test of discipline more so than talent. Then we've got Ohio State vs. Texas, 2 vs. 15. This is exactly why the expansion works. 2 super talented teams, both flawed, but both dangerous. No arguments and no hypotheticals, the winner earns it. Especially the fact that both these teams played earlier in the year allows us to see if Texas really has gotten better or if they didn't deserve a spot, or if Ohio State's just fraudulent. Then we've got Georgia vs. BYU. On paper, it looks like a comfortable win for the Dogs, and in terms of raw speed and depth, it probably is. But BYU is one of the most disciplined and physical teams in the country. They don't beat themselves, and they control the line of scrimmage well. They limit mistakes and force opponents to execute for a full 4 quarters. And I know that the Texas Tech game was bad, but in my opinion, that was an outlier. This isn't about whether BYU is more talented. They're not. It's about whether Georgia stays patient and avoids the kind of sloppy stretches that they've had this season, where they let teams hang around longer than they should. If Georgia's defense continues their late season dominance early in this game, it should be a blowout fast. Now we've got Texas Tech versus Notre Dame. This might be the most fascinating matchup of the entire first round, because Texas Tech has that explosiveness, tempo, willing to take shots. Notre Dame is more so built on structure and controlling the game, and they win situational football a lot. For Tech, this is a chance to prove that their offense translates to an amazing defense, and for Notre Dame, it's about answering the questions they always face. Can they keep up when things get chaotic, and do they deserve a spot? Now that's it for our theoretical matchups. The rest move along in the same way that they're scheduled to. Again, there's no buys, and just like in college basketball, the good teams get to have seemingly easy wins against weaker ones. So does a 16-team college football playoff fix everything? Absolutely not. But in my opinion, it does these 3 very important things. It reduces resume snubs, it shifts debates from opinion to results, and it forces teams to prove they belong, not just beg for attention and spots like Notre Dame has done. College football will always be chaotic, but in my opinion, that's also what makes it so beautiful. A 16-team playoff gives structure and a super more entertaining first round with potential upsets, especially with teams like Notre Dame, BYU, Texas, and Vanderbilt proving that they actually deserve a spot. So if this were the real 16-team college football playoff, who gets overrated, who gets upset, and who ends up winning it all? I think it'd still be Georgia, but drop your bracket in the comments, let me know who would win. This is House of Stats, I'll see you in the next one, signing out.